The film you are about to see is a dramatization of the life of Jim Jones, born May 13th, 1931 in Lynn, Guyana, died November 18th, 1978 in Jonestown, Guyana. This is his story.
Drink the potion. They've come to kill us. Quick, drink the wine. Drink the wine. They'll be here with flamethrowers. Drink, drink. In a few seconds, you'll feel drowsy. You'll lie down and go to sleep. Sleep forever. There's no escape. Drink. They're here. They're here. We'll soon be in another life together. Hurry! All right. The alert is over. It was just a loyalty test. Go to sleep. Go back to your beds. I'm watching over you. We're safe this time. We must always be prepared to take the final step. Remember, the next white alert might be a real attack.
Congressman Ryan, do you have time for a press conference?
Yeah, just a quick one. Keep alive while we're in the air.
There they are.
All right, everyone, I think we better get moving. Hello, how are you? I just want to say a few words to the media before we take off. Gene, I just want to make a statement, all right? And Jack, would you get the relatives in behind me? I just want to say that we don't know for sure that there's anything wrong in Jonestown. Now, we've had various reports that some members of Jim Jones' congregation are virtual prisoners. These members of the community who have relatives in Guyana want to go down there and show their concern for these reports and to ask their loved ones if they want to come home. I think we'll know for sure tomorrow, I hope. Meanwhile, I think it would be wise if the media and all the rest of us would not spread any rumors or gossip about the People's Temple until we know what the facts actually are. Thank you.
Congressman Ryan, about how many U.S. citizens are there in Jonestown?
Our best guess is about 1,000.
Has our embassy there been in contact with you?
I presume so.
Is it true that Social Security checks are going directly to the temple bank accounts?
Jim? Jim, Congressman and the reporters have taken off from San Francisco. We have to get things in order.
Okay.
Man that is born of woman hath but a short time to live, and is full of misery. cometh up and is cut down like a flower. He fleeth as it were a shadow, and never continueth in one stay. In the midst of life we are in death. Of whom may we seek for succor? But of thee, O Lord, who for our sins art justly displeased. Yet, O Lord God, most holy, O Lord, most mighty, O holy, and most merciful Savior, deliver us not to thy bitter pains of eternal death. Thou knowest, Lord, the secrets of our hearts. Shut not thy merciful ears to our prayer. But spare us, Lord, most holy, O God, most mighty, O holy, and merciful Savior, thou most worthy Judge eternal. Suffer us not at our last hour, or any pains of death to fall from thee. You stop making that noise, Albert. I didn't do nothing, Jimmy. You've been making noises all through the service. That's no way to show respect for the dead. Will you hurry up, Jimmy? I've got to get home. We haven't had the hymn yet. My mom don't care about that. Told you not to do that no more. Now, so I'll sing the hymn. Rock of ages, fled from me. Let me hide myself in thee. Let the water and the blood from thy wounded side which flowed. Under the mercy of Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, we commend the soul of our friend departed, and commend his body to the ground, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Ensure the certain hope of their resurrection into eternal life through our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Playing for keeps. Go duck your head, creepy. Don't you know it's a sin? You'll go to hell, Charlie Fishback. You go down there and get things ready for me. Sinners, sinners, sinners. The topic of our sermon today is repentance. And you better repent, Charlie Fishback, or you're going straight to hell.
Heard you got into a scrap with a Fishback boy today.
Just making fun of the good book.
Not everyone believes in it the way you do.
Their souls are damned to perdition.
You're damned to get a bloody nose if you keep telling them that when they don't want to hear it.
I don't care. There's no reason anyone should gamble.
Oh, I don't understand you. They're only playing marbles.
We're playing for keeps.
Your mom should have never sent you to that crazy old lady.
Miss Kennedy isn't crazy. She knows the true word of God.
Don't you sass me, boy. I'll take you over to that shed and tan your hide.
Come and get it!
Dear Father, we are grateful to Thee for your love and all other blessings.
Your food's getting cold.
Said your
For
food's
parents,
getting cold.
For our
Leave her
home,
alone.
for all God's creatures, for the beauty of nature. We
Every night
especially
that praying gets
thank
longer
you
and longer.
Bless it to the
Crazy
nourishment of
nigger
our
with a
bodies
vowel.
and our bodies to your
What the
service.
hell is the difference? Just
In
leave him
Jesus
alone.
Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
How many dogs you got now?
4?
Well, that's 3 dogs too many. Can't walk outdoors without stepping in their mess.
Can we talk about something else during supper?
No, because he's turning this place into a zoo.
Yeah, when you start paying the rent on it, then you can start doing some complaining.
You know damn well I try. Just that my lungs are...
Your lungs are healthy enough to get you down to the pool hall every day. You know what you are? You're a coward because you're always behind underneath a white sheet, burning somebody's cross.
Don't you say anything about the case.
Any man who's got something to do and ain't ashamed of it doesn't have to hide underneath a damn white sheet.
If there were more people in the Klan, this country'd be in better shape.
Klan?
That's what I say.
You take that K away from Klan and you're a can. That's what you ought to be.
There are only 6 people in the Klan, so it's how to take care of them, that's all.
Kennedy?
Come on in.
Mrs. Kennedy?
It's all right, Jim. It's all right. Come on over. You know you can always come here, don't you?
He says you're crazy. He doesn't like you. He doesn't like anybody or anything. He hates my dogs. He hates niggers and Jews.
It's all right, Jim. You see, your father hasn't felt good since he came back from the first war. He's had troubles, and we just got to try and understand him.
Will you tell me a Bible story?
Honey, you know all those stories by heart.
The way you tell them makes them better than a movie.
They are better because they're real. This is the fountain of all truth and wisdom. In the ancient land of Egypt, a cruel emperor called a pharaoh occupied the throne. And in that land, they worshipped all kinds of strange gods like cats and birds and things like that. And it was in that land that Moses first appeared. Oh, I'm so proud of you, son. Seeing you give yourself to Christ, hearing you speak your first words for him. Oh, I can't say how exciting it was.
Yes, I'm proud too. But humble and grateful.
That's right. You let others be proud.
I might be a preacher when I grow up, like Mr. Kennedy.
Well, I don't see why not. You heard the call at a very early age, and you're smart. And if that's what you really want, I know that the Lord will certainly hear your prayers.
That's what I want, thanks to you.
Oh, you do make me so proud, thank the Lord. Now, I know that you want to hurry home and tell your mother that you heard the call. Maybe I'll see you later, huh?
Bye.
Bye.
Damn way out. Why don't you take that ball of yours and go down to nigger town? Get out of my way, you psalm singing little creep.
I want you to take this, and I want you to put everything you own in it, because we're going to get the hell out of here, and you and me ain't coming back. So pack it full, honey, and let's get.
I want you to get the outside of these buildings painted, and I'm going to take a few of these people and have them paint the inside of the infirmary and the schoolroom. And if you need me, I'll be in the pavilion. So would you people follow me, please? Jim?
Mother.
No, Jim, this is Marcy.
Mother.
Hi, Marcy.
You're late.
No, I'm not. I'm right on time.
Nope, you're late by 5 seconds.
Wait a minute.
Better take the hamper down to the laundry right away. There's 2 extra people down there with nothing to do.
I'll get right to that. Anything else special?
No.
Good. I think if I worked any harder, I'd faint. I'll sure be glad when school's over.
So you can stop running?
So I can start running in the right direction.
Jim.
Mercy, you believe in me, don't you?
Well, of course I do.
I can do what I'm trying to do alone. I need you. I mean, I need people who believe in me and believe in the gospel I'm trying to preach, but I need you more than anyone. I want you to marry me, Marcy. Be my life's companion. Therefore shall a man cleave unto his wife, and they shall be of one flesh. Will you?
I don't know. Look, I'm older than you are. You haven't finished school yet. You don't know what you want.
I've always known what I wanted. From the first time I sat on Myrtle Kennedy's knee and she opened the gates to the world of faith to me and put me on the path to God. I want you to make the journey with me, Marcy. Now and into eternity.
Oh, I love you. I know what you want, and I believe in what you're doing. I'm just not sure myself.
I'll help you find the way. Why don't you come and hear me preach on Sunday?
Well, now, I'll never say no to that.
Is it against the rules for an orderly to kiss a nurse in the hospital room?
Why, Reverend Jones, how dare you?
That's something. Don't matter what it is, Charlie. You wouldn't know what to do with her. Uh-oh. Here comes a preacher. Quick. Turn that picture around, Charlie.
He's all right. Works like a darn fool, which is more than you can say. Now, don't you make any remarks to get him riled up, or he'll stand up and give us a 45-minute sermon. Hi, Jim.
Hey, Charlie, how's it going?
Okay. Sit down. Haven't seen you around for a while. What you been up to?
Nothing much. Studying for graduation, doing a little preaching.
What you want, boy? I do my own sweeping.
I want to get a haircut.
I don't cut steel wool with my shears.
Huh?
You get your butt and your burr head out here and tell your mammy to cut your hair with the hedge clippers.
I just want to get a haircut for my mama's burial.
Well, you ain't gonna get it here.
Just a minute. Just what do you think you're doing? You hear what he said? He wants a haircut for his mama's funeral.
I don't care if he wants it for his own funeral. I ain't gonna cut no nigger's hair here.
Difference does it make? He's a little boy. Haven't you got any feelings? We're all the same in the eyes of God.
This ain't God's barber shop, and it ain't gonna be mine either if I use my tools on that nigger's head.
And it's not mine either, now or ever. For this is the house of the devil, and those that abide here are cursed. Come on, son, let's get out of here.
X-ray technician. That's the best we can do. X-ray technician. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks, Marcy.
You really look handsome. Your mama's going to be so proud of you looking down from heaven. Oh, I have to get back to work.
I'll walk George back downstairs.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
You know something, Mr. Jones? I'd be proud to be your wife.
How about that, George? Huh?
Oh, I'm so happy. I'll be really a good wife for Jim.
Where are you going to go on your honeymoon?
Oh, well, we're going to Indianapolis so he can study for his ordination, and then he's going to apply for a pulpit.
Well, now that figures. Some men take their wife on a honeymoon. My son takes his wife to church.
Oh, but our whole life will be a honeymoon.
I don't think so. I've been there a couple times.
I'm so proud of you, son. Oh, I do envy your mother having a son like you.
Oh, you're my mother, too. My religious mother, and I'll never be able to thank you enough.
No.
We want to make you feel as welcome as we can, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, sir.
It's important to understand that one of the main reasons for us to accept your application for this ministry is that, well, we've been losing membership over the last several years.
Why? What's wrong?
Well, the neighborhood's been changing. And this is an older area, as you know, and since the war, people seem to have tired of it. Some of our families have moved to the outskirts of town.
More than some. It's not like it used to be when a man bought a house and settled in for a lifetime to raise a family.
Don't the new families need the church as much as the others?
It doesn't seem to have worked out that way.
You see, what we were hoping, Mr. Jones, is that perhaps a younger man with more zeal and energy could kind of stir up the spirit in this church.
I'll certainly do my best.
Take it to the Lord in prayer. In his arms he'll take and shield thee. Thou wilt find a solace there.
I have a few announcements to make. All of them pretty gloomy. The sewing circle is canceling its meetings until further notice due to a lack of attendance. The Women's Guild has withdrawn invitations to our annual potluck supper on behalf of our missionary fund. There didn't seem to be anybody who wanted to attend. Since only 2 children regularly attend Sunday school, the class has been canceled. No, not just a minute. I am going to cancel that cancellation. If there's one thing that I believe this church must maintain, it is its obligation to our young people, whether we're talking about 1 child or 1,000 children. The Sunday school class will continue. I'll conduct it myself, with the assistance of Mrs. Jones.
Are you worried about something? Something on your mind?
Jenny, I'm worried about Jim. I'm worried about what will happen if anyone leaves. Jim is just going to feel so betrayed. I don't know what he'll do.
What if a few of them leave? The rest of us going to be here. We ain't going nowhere. Ain't nobody and nothing can make me leave Jim Jones. You know that. Ain't nobody know him like we know him. We've been with him so long that we can't even think of any other life. You know that. I remember the first day he came to my door. Hi, honey.
Hello. I'm Jim Jones, pastor of the Somerset Southside Church. I'd like to invite you to services on Sunday.
I know you have good intentions, but I hardly think of what you want for your church.
Oh, you're exactly what I want for my church, Miss...
Jenny? Call me Jenny.
Jenny. Jenny, do you know the story of Mary Magdalene?
If she works in this neighborhood, I know her.
Listen, would you mind if I came in for a few minutes just to talk?
Talk?
Yes, ma'am. Talk.
Well, I ain't never turned no man away before, so you can come in.
Thank you. Good morning, Jenny. It was good to see you in church yesterday. But now, isn't this just a little early for you?
Well, I didn't sleep all night. And I wasn't working either. I'm going down here and I'm going to get me a dress. A proper church-going dress like those other ladies wear. I ain't going to bring no shame on you, Mr. Jones.
There's no shame for me in anything you do, Jenny. Or ever have done. You can come to the Lord in rags or in silk. Just as long as you come to him, that's all that matters.
I hope so. For the first time since I was a little girl, I hope so. I really, really hope so. But do you think it's all right for colored people to come into your church? I mean, there's people there that looked at us like we were pigs in a parlor.
Of course, it's all right. We're all God's children, Jenny. Each of us the same in his eyes.
Yeah, but God ain't the only one that's looking.
I'll speak it, Jenny.
What do you say, preacher?
How are you, Mr. Ritchie? Say, where's that big monkey you had in the window?
Well, nobody wanted him, so I put him to work cleaning out the basement.
We missed you yesterday.
Yeah, well, one of these days. I was busy feeding the animals.
How did you get into the pet shop business? Your love of animals?
No, I hate anything with more than 2 legs. I had the misfortune of inheriting this place about 6 months ago. I was an accountant. You know, I worked on other people's tax problems. Then my uncle dies and leaves me this.
Can't you sell it?
I can't sell one animal, let alone an entire pet shop. You know what's in the basement? Uncle Harold's last practical joke. More monkeys. And when the last of the payroll goes in bananas, I'll have to fire my staff of 1. Then what?
Why don't you come over to the church and pray with me for an answer?
Pray,
What have you got to lose? You're not doing very well without it.
You know, preacher, there's a lot of talk about you taking blacks into that church.
Does that bother you?
Well, nothing bothers me except keeping company with monkeys. But it bothers a lot of other people. What the hell? I mean, heck, this was the national headquarters of the Ku Klux Klan.
The only God I know is for white and black. And for any other color that comes to him with faith.
Yeah, well, it's your funeral. And I may just come over there and watch it since don't have the price of a movie.
I wish you'd do that.
Come on. Shut up, quit your whining.
Welcome, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the rebirth of the Holy Spirit in this venerable place of worship. For this is the home of the Lord, and you are all welcome here. Today I will take my sermon from that pure and beautiful ideal of love, the brotherhood of man. The scripture saith, there is no difference between the Jew and the Greek, for the same Lord over all is rich unto all that call upon him. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved.
Amen. Some of us think you're not revitalizing this church at all. You're destroying it. Now, one...
Hey, young mama! What the hell?
The dog! My God, they've cut its throat.
Dear God, poor animal, why would they do this to you?
Jim, we called you in to discuss a matter of church policy, but it's gone beyond that. I'm sorry, Jim. We're going to put out a call for a new minister.
What? Didn't you see that church last Sunday? Every pew filled.
Yes, filled with...
With what? You're young. You're inexperienced. You'd be better off spending a few years in a smaller, more tranquil community. I mean that. Sincerely.
Sincerely? I don't think there's a sincere man on the board of this church. There's no love here. This is the last church I'll ever enter where I put my beliefs in the hands of small men without vision, without faith. Brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, will you pray with me? O Lord, I beseech thee in all thy majestic wisdom and mercy to see the burden that these your children must carry.
Amen.
We are all together in this world, black and white, red, brown, and yellow. A single humanity suffering the pains of this mortal life, working for the joys of thy eternal peace. Lift our hearts, lift our souls. Take us into thine almighty presence and keep us safe from harm. Amen.
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 Praise the Lord.
Amen.
Where is your church, brother?
My church is here. My church is everywhere.
Well, wherever it is, I want to go to it.
You're always welcome. You're all welcome. Isn't that nice? Wait a minute, I want to look at this. Otis, that is a wonderful job, wonderful. Come on, let's get inside before we freeze to death. Woo!
Mr. Jones?
Yes?
Karen Bundy, from Mr. Ritchie's pet shop.
Hi, Karen. Welcome to the People's Temple. Clayton told me how sorry he was he had to let you go. He said you were very bright, very conscientious. I told him you sounded just like the person we needed to run our child care program.
Oh, thank God. I was scared that you wouldn't want me. I didn't have any place to go.
Come on in, come on. You'll see everything's all right. Come on. My heart's full of joy. I want to share it with you. For Sunday, this place will be as shiny as a new dime and as pure and sweet as the mercy of our Lord. Come on. Do you know anything about the temple, our work here?
Only a little, only what Mr. Ritchie told me. Whatever it is, I hope it keeps on going. Every job I've had in the last 18 months has gone out of business, like Mr. Ritchie's pet shop.
Well, we're not going to go out of business. We're in it for a long, long time. We're in the business of eternity. Look, anyone who knows life and the pain involved would also know that you've suffered. I can see it in your eyes.
It's just that I've tried so hard for so long, and
we're here to welcome you to the true faith and the true belief. Are you ready to come to God?
so... My father threw me out of the house. He got me with a guy, and we weren't even doing anything.
Our hearts are open to you, Karen. You have no more worries. I'll take care of you.
You're the kindest man in the world. I don't know how to thank you. I'm really happy. I feel happy.
let me show you the rest of the temple.
Yeah, sure.
Enjoying the madhouse, huh?
Door was open.
Yeah, there's nothing in the register but bills for the food these monsters eat.
Clayton, I've got a proposition for you. Hello, Mrs. Kruger.
Yes?
I'm Jim Jones, pastor of the People's Temple. I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes.
Well, our family goes to Grace Presbyterian.
Yes, ma'am. That's a fine church. But what I want to talk to you about is the delightful gift of love and friendship for your children. Think how surprised and delighted they'd be to come home this afternoon and find this sweet little fellow waiting to greet them.
Oh, I don't think they'd want one of those. What kind is it?
It's a capuchin monkey, ma'am. One of the cleanest, most docile house pets you could possibly have. It's far more intelligent than a dog, much more loving than a cat. Easy to train, lives on a few pieces of fruit, and as clean as a pin. Look at that. He loves you. He'd be loving your entire family. It'd just break his heart to be taken from you.
Oh, I don't know.
It's for a good Christian cause, ma'am. And the $29 purchase price includes a month's supply of bananas. $174. Here you are, Clayton. The first income of the People's Temple, our wings of deliverance. You better open up a bank account.
You're a great salesman, Jim, but you don't know business. I better open you a non-profit corporation before you have to hand this over to the tax collector.
I don't understand.
Well, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. Just tell me what you want to call it.
Call it Wings of Deliverance, Incorporated.
Mr. Stevens, be reasonable. Tell the wholesalers to be reasonable.
Mr. Stevens, how are you?
Fine, well, maybe not so good. You see, my business is COD. To me, that's cash on delivery. To him, credit on delivery.
Well, why don't we just go inside and talk to Jim about it? It's really going to warm your heart when you see where all this food is going. Oh, those presents that Jim has for Mr. Stevens' children, will you get those for me, Clayton? Jim takes care of the spiritual needs of the flock, and I take care of the more material needs. Here's our health clinic. Here, this ping pong table was donated. This is Myron, this is Charlie, this is Mr. Stevens. And over here we have all these books here. They've been donated to us also. Now, this is my favorite section. We've set up a daycare center for people who need their working mothers. Hi there.
Now, this money is owed to you. Every time that you work, received a paycheck when you work.
Now, these elderly people, they don't realize the Social Security benefits they're entitled to. So this is Jean. Now, she's going to assist them and help them deal with the government agencies. One day soon, we're going to open up our homes for these elderly people. Here's the produce that you delivered today. Now, some of this goes to feeding volunteer workers, but more than 2/3 of it goes to feeding needy families.
Nora, are you crazy, or am I crazy, or are we both going nuts?
Now, monkeys and promises of salvation just aren't going to make it. We're broke. We're going into debt faster than I can add it up.
Clayton, I'm just beginning.
Jim,
No. What I want you to think about is forming another corporation. This one will also be non-profit. It'll deal in real estate. Buying, selling, transferring. It'll donate its proceeds to the temple and hold title to the building here, which we're going to purchase.
Jim, we don't know a thing about real estate.
Call it Jim Lumar. After me, my mother, and Marcelin. We'll be the board of directors, and you'll be the treasurer.
Yeah. But you don't have anything to use as a base.
That's a deed to a house and 2 acres of land formerly owned by Granny Carver.
How did you get that?
It was a gift to the temple. A gift of gratitude.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Sell it and pay the grocery bills. What I got for you A piece of bread. That's what you need, isn't it? Dear God Almighty, I am a nigger lover. I say it with humility, not pride. I say it with sorrow, not hate. But we know here today that those who have attempted to defile us, to hurt us, to condemn us, have truly helped us. Yes, helped us. For now we know how desperately the work of this church is needed. Amen. Now we can see how clearly the lines have been drawn between the forces of good and the legions of evil. Now we know that the enemy is not just some mysterious force lurking in the dark shadows, but a real and vicious enemy. Remember this. Never forget this. It will become worse.
Don't go out there. They come in the house, take the baby out the back. Go out into the woods. Sweet Jesus. They're not gonna do anything. You just wanna scare me, that's all. You know what to do.
Come on out here before we come in and get you! Nigga, you coming out?
What do you want with me? I never did anything to you.
Just get out here! Unless you want our house and everything in it burned to the ground!
No! No, no!
I'd like to see them burn their crosses before a man of God. I'd like to see the flesh ripped from their bodies with the terrible swift sword of an angry Jehovah. Beasts like that should suffer the agonies of the damned.
Jim, please, you could frighten a baby.
I'm sorry, my feelings just got the best of me.
Mrs. Jefferson would be glad to stay with the baby. You should go down to the hospital.
God bless you both.
Okay, now we've got it all laid out here to give you an idea of cost against cash flow.
I don't care about numbers. My people are being helped.
They're being helped at a rate of $2,000 a month more than we're collecting.
It's impossible.
Well, the numbers are here. They don't lie.
Clayton?
This church is doing more than the city of Indianapolis. We've got nursing homes for the elderly, food programs, job placement programs, clothing exchanges, nursery schools. Something's got to go.
No. We don't retreat, we expand.
Well, you can't expand on credit. The temple's going to end up in bankruptcy court and they'll close us down.
I can't believe this. We have at least 8 pieces of property donated by my followers.
But only one of those pieces is in a white middle-class neighborhood, the Dobson family place. The people are moving into the suburbs. Small homes in deteriorating areas just don't move that quickly.
Then cut the prices, give second mortgages. See what you can do about getting these suppliers to cut their prices.
No way.
No? What if all the people in this congregation said they were going to stop using what these people supply?
And what if 500 letters were written each and every day to names selected from the telephone book, urging that these suppliers be avoided?
Well, do what you want. I'm going to bed.
Night, Clayton. Steve. Father Divine. He doesn't have any financial trouble.
maintain their system.
I know nothing of such worldly things, Brother Jones. We're all lambs in our father's flock.
How do you support the shepherd? Do you tithe? Do you contribute part of your income? I just don't understand.
There's nothing to contribute. All of us divested ourselves of all worldly possessions as we entered heaven and the grace of Father Divine.
All of it?
The gift is his. The gift of eternal salvation. His touch can heal the lame and the halt, the broken and the blind.
I want to thank you for the tour. This is a very beautiful place. Tell me, do you visit your family, your home?
This is heaven. There's no other place for me. Father will see you now, Mr. Jones.
Thank you. I've wanted to meet you for a long time.
Most of mankind has shared your hope.
I'm very impressed with such a beautiful place.
It's heaven.
Father, you were forced to leave New York. Was it because you were too weak to conquer the Philistines?
No, my son. It was because we were becoming too strong, and they were frightened.
But how could you sustain such a movement?
How did my son Moses sustain his flock?
But the cost.
Ask, and you shall receive, my son. Ask, and you shall receive.
All worldly possessions?
Sustenance of whatever kind the Holy Father requires.
Father, sometimes the women in my flock tempt me. What shall I do about that?
It is your duty, your religious obligation to bring their desires to the surface so that you can eliminate them. Remember, Mary wasn't a virgin.
I think you've given a whole new world to me, Father Divine.
As it should be, so let it be, my son.
Tell me, do you really believe that you are God?
I don't have to say that I am God, and I don't have to say that I am not God. I say that thousands of people call me God, millions of them, and millions of people call me the devil, but I don't say that I'm God, and I don't say that I'm the devil. But I produce God and shake the earth with it.
Thank you, Father. Thank you.
Gifts of heaven. What are they? What has God given you today? The food in your bellies, the clothes on your back, these flowers you see. He has given you life, but what have you given to God? Have you helped to pay his bills? Have you helped to provide him shelter at his place of worship? Have you given until all your energy is drained, as his mercy must be drained?
Have you given until your back aches with the effort, as his must ache, carrying the burdens of a sinful world? Oh, children, children, we must all give, give, give.
Jim? You all right?
I'm all right.
Here, I brought you some tea.
Just this burden's incredible. There's not enough time in the day to do it all.
Well, you're exhausted. You're working too much.
Not nearly enough.
Delegate some of the responsibility and the authority to the committee.
Does God delegate responsibility and authority? Marcy, I'm tired. I need something.
Pills?
Yeah. What are they called?
Amphetamines.
Bless these hands. Give me the power of your sweet charity, O Jesus. Come to me, children. Come to me. Give me your lame, your blind, and your halt, and I will heal them. For I am filled with the faith and the power and glory of the Lord. And you shall receive the magnificent gifts he is prepared to bestow upon the faithful. Oh, Lord, I pray for this, your devoted servant. We all pray together. For we believe in the Spirit and the mercy of God Almighty. Oh, devil, deaf spirit, come out! Lord, I can hear. Hallelujah, you can hear. Praise the Lord. It's a miracle. Hallelujah. Do you have faith?
Yes, I do.
Do you truly believe?
Indeed, I do.
Are you ready for the sickness that twists your body to come out?
I give everything to God.
Then be healed. Walk, sister, walk for us.
I can walk. Was I all right?
Of course, you were perfect.
I feel funny about pretending this way. Fooling.
We're not fooling anyone, Karen. We're reinforcing their faith, showing them that it can work miracles. Just trust me, Karen. I know the power of faith. I also know that it can be helped with just a little push.
You're truly a wonderful, brilliant man.
I'm not just a man, Karen. I've been blessed. I've been chosen.
Marcy?
I know you're awake, Marceline. I want to talk to you.
There's nothing to talk about.
Oh, yes, there is. You're the one person who truly understands the burden I'm carrying as the embodiment of faith. You can't take that understanding away from me, just as I'm about to see my way through this miasma of mortal confusion to the path of salvation and righteousness.
Don't you preach to me. Not when I found you in the arms of another woman. I wasn't even a woman. I was a child.
I have to be all things to all men and women.
You should see a doctor. A psychiatrist.
A psychiatrist? I've had a vision of life everlasting, don't you understand? I'm having miraculous insights unlike any I've ever heard before. Marceline, I am the chosen one. You have to understand and support me. You have to keep faith with me.
What about our marriage? What about faith in that?
We are one flesh now and forever. Your faith? Is it in this little black book of myths and fables and 1,001 mistakes? Yes. No, you cannot put all your faith in that little black book. Is your faith in some vision, some fantasy of God as a golden-haired figure in a rainbow? No. An imaginary sunburst in the clouds? No. Then where is your faith? Is it where it belongs? In the message I bring to you. In me, the spiritual father of your church. Yes. What? I can't hear your faith. Yes. Praise God, my children, my children, my children. You are all my children. I am your spiritual father who will guide you, who will love you, and save you. Save you from temptation, save you from sin, and take you to the gates of paradise. That eternal heaven that awaits each of us who truly believes. Yes. And I will bring you the fruits of this life. For your faith in me gives you power. Yes. Power greater than any on this earth. And we must be certain of your faith. There must not be the slightest shadow of doubt. You must show it, demonstrate it. Brothers and sisters, stand up when I call your name. Brother Curtis, Sister Fleming, Sister Moss, Sister Calhoun, Brother Emery, Sister Hagan. Brother Morris. Brother Phillips. I appoint you, and I charge you with the responsibility of maintaining a constant vigil over these sinful, fallible mortals. When they falter, we must give them strength. When they transgress, we must punish them. When they fail, we must make them succeed. And we will succeed. In the name of heaven, we will succeed. To exemplify, purify, and glorify in God Almighty. Praise God.
What have you been saying about Father Jones, Sister Crandall?
I don't know what you mean.
Don't make it worse by denying it, sister. You think you can keep things secret, but word gets out.
You know what we mean. You've been disrespectful. You let your grasp on your faith weaken. You let it slip away.
I've done all I could.
But not until you had to be reminded. Not until someone had to come looking for you.
Nobody had to come looking for me.
Oh, no. Your measly little pledge had to be forced from your pocket while you were collecting blood money from a poor tenant.
That property is all I've got.
That's all you got. And what's the temple got? What's our dear Father Jones got to take care of all his suffering children?
I don't know.
Has he got you to help? Has he got your faith to support him?
You are a Philistine and a godless one among us.
No, no.
This didn't involve faith. It involved money.
That too. That more than anything. Because that is the way we can achieve our goals and withstand the hatred of our enemies. And I must have loyalty even from you. Especially from you.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
No. Come in. We're just finishing up.
Hello. Trouble?
No. Just a disagreement over my need for loyalty.
We don't need any problems now. All our hard work is just paid off. The mayor has appointed you head of the Human Rights Commission. We've got some political clout now.
I guess they know I can get things done.
They know you can deliver votes. And now you can deliver jobs. You take the loyal church members, you put them in civil service jobs. You can control the city.
I didn't know I had Machiavelli working in the accounting office. You were very special to me. Mr. Clayton. He's a very lucky man.
So are you.
How many?
350.
Huh?
350 tickets.
I don't know. I never sold. I better call the manager. Mr. Brooks, somebody out here wants 350 tickets. Listen, I don't have to take talk like that to hold this dumb job. Come out here and tell him yourself.
What's the problem? No problem. I want 350 tickets for the next show, and here's the money.
For $350, I'll get up into a tap dance between the cartoon and the feature. Wait a minute. What the hell is this? The section for coloreds only holds 50 people.
Sir, this is a historic moment. We're desegregating the first theater in Indianapolis.
You can't do this to me. I'll call the authorities.
I am the authority. I'm Jim Jones, the city's new Human Rights Commissioner. Listen, as long as we're here, I'd like to talk to you about job opportunities in your theater for some of the young men in our church.
These are the largest nuclear devices tested to date, carrying a destructive force 1,000 times greater than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. I've had a vision. It came to me in the night, and it came to me from God. A nuclear holocaust more devastating than any catastrophe known to man since the Great Flood, when only Noah escaped. Worse than that, I have seen it. I have heard the screams of the help. I have watched whole cities turn to cinders. I know that it is a true vision and that we are doomed. And where will you hide from this vengeance that has been promised again and again to sinful man, to careless man, to faithless man? Prepare yourself. Are you ready to meet your Maker? Scientists, military experts, they know of only 9 places on the face of the earth that will be safe. Ukiah, California, and the Redwood Valley is one of them, and that's where we're going. Those of you who have donated all your worldly possessions to the church will travel with us to this sanctuary, and there you'll help us to build a glorious new People's Temple.
Just as soon as I can see Jesus, the man who made me free. He was the man who bled and suffered. You know he died for you and for me.
Don't understand. I need a church, but I can't build it. You need workers, but you won't hire them. Now, what in God's name is wrong here?
Mr. Jones, this is a rural area. You can't fix skilled craftsmen off the trees. It takes time.
There are hundreds of men just sitting around in the little towns around here.
But they're not builders, they're sitters. That's the problem.
You come outside with me. I want to show you something.
Sir, are you the foreman?
Not now, kid.
Wait a minute. What do you want, son?
I'm looking for work.
See, there are men who want to be hired.
What do? You carpenter, plumber, driver?
I've done a little of all those.
You hold a card?
No, but I'll work hard. Look, I'm strong enough for anything you got here.
You don't look strong enough to get to a doctor's office. You been sick?
I had a virus. I'm okay now.
Hire him.
Mr. Jones, he's not qualified. He doesn't have a union card, and I think
He looks all right to me. Aren't you, son?
Well...
David, he's okay. He's all right. David.
Thank God he wasn't up on a scaffold.
I'll take care of him. You get some men on this job. It's cold as ice.
He's okay. He's okay.
Tracks. This man's a junkie. I gotta get him to a hospital.
No. They'll lock him up. What's he been taking?
Nothing.
Don't lie to me. He's in serious trouble, and I want to help him, just as I want to help all children of God.
I just came here to get a job. We don't have any money.
For God's sake, tell me. I'm a minister. I'm not a policeman.
Paregoric. Methadone.
Heroin addict.
Heroin? What's going to happen to him?
Just take him.
Be quiet. I'm going to take care of him. He's not going anywhere until I've freed him from this demon that's possessing his soul.
Jim, this man is a drug addict. We got to think about when he wakes up. He's going to be awful sick. He's going to be acting crazy.
Faith can cure anything. Otis, call Marcy. Tell her to get us some tranquilizers, some stimulants, whatever we're going to need to take care of him. Tell her to take this girl up and get her fed. I don't want her around him until this is over.
Karen, I want this girl fed.
I don't think you give the instructions in this area.
These are Father Jones' instructions.
That's all you had to say. Feed her.
Just cool off.
Oh. Easy. Don't hurt him.
It's all right.
Oh, please.
It's okay. Just start a fire, Perry.
Oh, no.
Don't fight. I'm gonna fight this battle with you.
Oh,
I'm gonna fight this battle with you. We're in this together. So please, dear God, give us strength and courage to face these agonies that are brought us. Dear God, give us strength. Save his poor soul. And the demons that are tortured, bring him peace. Bring him peace.
Back up here.
I've got you. I've got you. I'm not gonna leave you. Hold on.
Morning.
You watch after him, okay? Call me if there's any change.
Boy.
He's sleeping.
I have Sheila working in the kitchen, and she's staying at Jenny's.
That boy in there, he could be my son.
I have to talk to you, Jim.
Not now. I want you to help me. I need a shot.
No, now. I am tired of being humiliated by your lovers. I will not put up with it anymore.
God, Marceline, don't I have enough on my mind?
I have put up with so many of them. Now, Karen is treating me like I'm a piece of dirt, and I am not going to stand for it anymore.
Come on.
I want a divorce.
You try to divorce me, and neither one of us will live to see it happen. Do you understand? Do you understand? Don't you ever mention that to me again. Now, come on and help me.
I joined the People's Temple because it was the one place where I felt wanted and accepted. I and where people of all races were working together to carry out the teachings of the gospel.
You think Jim Jones is sincere then?
In the beginning, yes. I believe he was sincere.
Mr. Ritchie, you're in a position to answer a question which keeps coming up. And that is the People's Temple a bona fide religion, or is it a crazy cult?
Well, you could do a lot of arguing about definitions, Congressman, but I think it basically comes down to one thing. The People's Temple is Jim Jones, and always has been. It started out to be one thing, but as he changed, it changed.
You were with the temple a long time, weren't you?
Yeah, from the beginning. That's where I met my wife. Jim spends money faster than I can add these bills.
Clayton, will you help me with this, please?
Huh?
Will you help me?
Oh, yeah, sure. Wait just a second.
I'll be glad when our new office in the church is finished and we're out of here. I think the movers dropped it. Had a key.
Had a key. I don't see much of you.
Oh, it's been a busy time.
You have time for Jim.
He needs all the support he can get, Clayton. You know that.
So do I. Jane, if we were together, if we made a life together, we could find time.
Are you proposing to me, Clayton?
Yeah. You know what I am, what I can do. I'll give you a good life.
And what about Jim?
Well, I know how you feel about him. I know how women feel about him. All the women in this church are in love with him in one way or another. If I couldn't accept that, I wouldn't be able to ask you.
If you couldn't accept that, I wouldn't be able to say yes, Clayton. I think we also have a Medicare check for you to sign, Mrs. Manners. Yes, right here. Would you sign that for me, please? Can you sign that right there, please? All gifts to the Almighty.
God bless you, Mrs. Manners.
God bless you, Father. Here, let me help you out. How have you been feeling? Oh, that's good. I'll see you a little later. That's the last check for today. $39,000 for the month and salary. I'll take these to the bank this afternoon, and you and I can stop at City Hall, right?
Great.
What's going on?
Gene and I are going to go down and get the license. We're getting married.
Well, that's wonderful. It's about time. Congratulations, Clayton. You're a very lucky man.
Well, thank you, Jim. See you later.
I'm very happy for you.
I'm 3 months pregnant, Jim.
Well, David's family wanted him to go to medical school, and me just to go. Away.
Well, he's got a fine mind. He should be a doctor.
Oh, I don't know. Doesn't seem quite strong enough without his family to push him. So we'll probably end up back in Haight-Ashbury.
Back on drugs, never. We can't let that happen. We've worked too hard.
I don't know. It's so primitive and natural here. And there's no time. There is no time. And there's no trouble here. Wish we could stay.
It's like the Garden of Eden, where it all began.
Mm-hmm.
I like to come here to commune with the creator of all this, without the constant demands on my time.
And this place, this heaven that you've almost single-handedly created, I think is one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen. The giving of so much love.
We must all give her love. And everything we have.
Hmm.
You could help me. Help me to make a better life for David.
Anything.
I'm asking you to be close to God. Close to me.
David's dead.
Don't you see that by giving to me, you're really helping him? He needs me now. And I need you. You're much too sensitive for this world. Our tormentors are everywhere, but I'll protect you, David.
Hi, honey, how you doing? Look like a girl with troubles. No, I'm fine. You know, there are some men in this world who can't live by the rules that apply to most of us. They need so much. They need everything. They need everybody.
Wouldn't that be called sinful here in this church?
For some, maybe, but not for those who give everything they've got to the world around them. The way I see it, they're saints. And anything they do is all right, as long as they just keep right on being saints.
But I just can't stand him anymore. He has taken over our lives, our bodies, and our minds.
You understand, he saved my life. He's a true messenger of God. Maybe he is God.
How can you believe that? Don't you see what he's doing to those poor people?
Look at me. Remember what it was like before we found him? Look at my arms. No more sores. Look at my eyes. No more pain. I'm surrounded by drugs. I turn in the dispensary. It never even crosses my mind that I want them, or that I once might have been a junkie.
This is just as bad. How can a man of God have used the bodies of a man and a woman together and alone? A married preacher. It's obscene and it's insane.
He has special needs. He gives so much of himself, his spirit and his flesh and his love has to be returned from whatever source he finds.
I've given everything I have for you too, David. Do you hear me? Everything. And I've gone to bed with everything from traveling salesman to this religious maniac to get you a fix or help when you needed it. And you owe me too. I'm leaving. Would you come with me? Please, David. Please.
Hello, David. It wasn't easy to find you.
Maybe he didn't want to be found.
I know you're not trying to hide from me. You're trying to hide from yourself. God looks after you always, David.
Please leave him alone. Leave us alone.
Do you want him back on heroin? Do you want to turn him into a zombie again? Do you want him helpless and totally dependent so you can suck the life from him? I saved him, and I will not lose him to you, to drugs, or anything else. David, you're coming back to me, are you?
No, please.
Yes, you are. You're going to go back to school, you're going to train that mind of yours, and you're going to be a doctor. You're going to save the Holy Spirit that I found in you. Because you love God, David. Because you love me. You must prove that love, David. You must prove it now and forever. You understand? Of course you understand. Stop. I want you here. I want you to see this.
lost paradise found. We are reborn in the name of the Spirit, and we consecrate this holy place to the Almighty. But it was not God who brought you here. No, no, no. It was Jim Jones that made this happen. And it is Jim Jones who will show you the path to peace and prosperity through work and devotion. What has your minister, your father, led you from? He's led you from this. Don't look away. Don't turn your eyes from this revolting scene. This is what they did to you. And this is what they'll do to you again if you don't follow me. Is this what you want? What? Or is this what you want? Huh? Never again. Never again. Never again. Never again. Do you remember? Do you remember? Yes. I will save you from all of this. I can't hear you. Or do you want to face the realization of my vision of Armageddon? These are the questions you must answer. When you look into your hearts and souls, and if you're found wanting, you know the terrible consequences. For without me, in life and in death, you are doomed to eternal agony.
The film you are about to see is a dramatization of the life of Jim Jones, born May 13th, 1931 in Lynn, Indiana, died November 18th, 1978 in Jonestown, Guyana. This is his story.
Hello, Jim.
Hello.
Looks really beautiful out there. Congressman Ryan should be impressed.
You've always been such an idealist. But they're not coming here to seek the truth. They're coming here to destroy us.
This will give you a better outlook.
Don't go yet, Dave. You stay with me while the enemy's here. It'll be such an ordeal, I may need more medication.
Jim, you know I'll be close by.
Yes, of course. I can always rely on you, David. My, we've come a long way. You remember those days in Uganda?
Sure.
I am. I know that's my child.
But Clayton doesn't...
Clayton will be very proud that I am the father.
Jim, please don't tell him that. Not now.
Always taking care of me, always protecting me. Lie with me a while. I need your strength.
Tell me one more time.
All right. You stick this under the seat in front of you, and you keep your feet on it until you get to Paris. Then at Orly Field, you book the next flight out to Geneva. You take a cab to Landau Frere, and you make the deposit.
Okay. When do I sleep?
After the money's in the bank. Jim, don't you think somebody ought to go with her?
No. The last thing anyone would expect a girl like this to have would be a suitcase full of money.
Excuse me, Jim. We're coming up from the San Francisco turnoff in about 5 minutes.
Thanks, Perry. You get my medicine?
For God's sakes, Jim, get some sleep. You've been going for 48 hours.
No, I can't sleep. I've got too much to do.
Well, if you're gonna burn yourself out, you ought to try to relax a little, you know? Stop taking those pills that keep you jumping all the time. And that.
Clayton, I want you to find a church in San Francisco right away. Buy it. And then Los Angeles. gonna lead my flock to paradise. Down the streets paved with gold. You'll grow up to sit at the right hand of God. Isn't he beautiful? You like the names I've chosen for him?
Yes. Joshua's a good name.
Joshua James. I had Karen book us out on a flight to Guyana tomorrow.
Well, I'd like to stay near Jean and the baby for a few days.
Why? They're under my protection. You're going to Guyana with me. Bring plenty of money. We're going to open a new mission there.
I don't understand what you want, Mr. Jones. You can do anything you want with the 3,000 acres in the jungle, and the followers of your group can come and go as they wish.
Yes, I know. But we are a special group, Colonel. Because we believe, as you do, in the democratic principles of socialism. My flock is constantly persecuted and hounded in the United States. Everywhere we turn, another enemy is attempting to destroy us. The CIA has attempted to infiltrate my flock. At least 2 attempts have been made to assassinate me.
What Jim means, Colonel Robles, is that we have certain needs, to protect ourselves. We have no desire to circumvent the laws of your country, but we will need to bring in rather large amounts of supplies that might seem unusual to your customs officials.
What sort of supplies?
Well, there's going to be a very large amount of money flowing into your country, Colonel, to finance our activities for our own people, as well as the missionary work that we wish to do elsewhere.
I see. And what else?
We will need certain equipment for our own protection. You know how active the CIA has been throughout the Caribbean, in Chile, Paraguay, Cuba, Ecuador, El Salvador.
Guns?
Yes, there will be some guns.
Well. You are asking a great deal of a small Marxist republic in the infancy of its revolutionary development. I must think about this long and carefully.
Of course, Colonel. I'm certain that you have many questions. Mr. Ritchie and I are going to inspect the site of our jungle paradise. Miss Bundy is as efficient as she is beautiful. And I'm certain that she can answer any questions that you may have. Any questions at all. All right, Karen?
Colonel will have everything he wants in the way of information about us.
It's so nice of you to come, Mrs. Briggs.
Thank you.
Mr. Briggs?
Actually, it was her mother who persuaded us to come here, Mr. Jones.
I was very moved by your comments about the suffering of children throughout the world, especially in Vietnam.
Thank you. And I'm grateful to your mother.
She watches your television program religiously. Forgive the fun.
My mother seems convinced that your prayers or perhaps one of your healing services would be of benefit to her.
What's the nature of her problem?
Cancer.
Yes, the doctors say absolutely nothing can be done about it. What do you say?
That's a medical myth. I'd like to talk with your mother.
She doesn't go to picnics.
We're holding a healing service to commemorate the opening of our mission in Guyana. Leave your address and phone number with one of my associates. I'll come and talk to your mother and prepare her for the revelation of faith.
And what can I do for you, Mr. Jones?
Pray with me. That's all I ever ask.
I see. Thank you.
Now, will each of you give a fond embrace to your neighbor? A salutary kiss of greeting. Let's fill the atmosphere with warmth. Love is a healing remedy. Let's concentrate so that the gifts of the Holy Spirit might happen. Let us believe. Let us believe.
Help. Give him the strength, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Give him strength. Hallelujah.
Do you have the faith to be healed?
Yes.
Will you let God pull this foul cancer from your body?
Yes.
Is every fiber of your being turned to faith?
Yes.
Then let this foul cancer come out of your body. Now, now, now!
I do believe you have the power. I don't care. The hell with them. I believe. God, you are God. Only God could have done what you have done. You are divine. Oh, your hands are blessed with miracles, aren't they?
Yes.
Oh,
Hands hold the power of miracles. I am God.
Yeah. Yes, I know you're God. You are the resurrection of Christ. You are divine.
And you are my child.
I am. Yes, I am. I adore you. Adore you.
You must adore me.
I do.
Worship me.
Worship? Yes, I worship you.
Lie with me.
Oh, yes.
Pray with me.
Oh. I worship you.
This weekly Saturday morning broadcast by the Reverend Jim Jones of the People's Temple is brought to you as a public service by this station. Jim?
Thank you, Scott. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to talk this morning about one of the basic needs of all mankind, shelter.
Remembered of the vote for George Moscone on Tuesday? He's our only hope of preventing the homosexuals from taking over the city. Buddy, if we don't stand together for Moscone on Tuesday, we're going to have to stand alone against all those pigs who want to break the heads of every gay guy in this city.
Several weeks ago on our telecast, I spoke to you about the universal human need for shelter. There are those among us who do not have it. Children, the elderly, even the helpless victims of disease.
And many of those who are considered different because of creed or color, or something as private as sexual preference. No shelter for them. And yet they are all God's children. That is why I'm particularly grateful to our newly elected mayor for his selection of me as your housing commissioner.
Discipline. Discipline. Discipline, discipline. We must all have discipline. It is the only way that I can have the freedom to extend our wonderful work through missionary centers to the underdeveloped sections of the world. I'm prepared to establish the first of these in the jungle paradise of Guyana. This church, my leadership, these are the only means of survival. Those who forget must be reminded again and again of their obligations. They must be punished to expunge their sins, to acknowledge their mistakes and pay for them.
Richard Jefferson, stand up! Father Jones, Richard Jefferson was sleeping as you spoke.
I'm sorry.
Stand up. That is exactly what I mean. Stand up. No. Not there in the bosom of your family. Stand where we can see. Let us all see who shirks his part of carrying this burden.
Are you awake now? Are you paying attention to our father? Huh? Huh? Wake up! Wake up! Pay attention to what's happening.
Can you stand before God, Richard Jefferson, and admit that you were sleeping while his message was being brought to you? Do you confess that your faith was so weak? Let me hear you. Let us all hear your shame.
I didn't do anything.
That is not remorse. That is not a confession. That is not humility.
But I was up all night painting the nursery school. You said yourself it had to be done, Dad.
And it was done. You performed a small service. But God doesn't want your small gifts, your minor efforts. He wants everything. He wants your body and soul. He wants all of you. Every minute of every hour of every day. Are you sorry that you couldn't give that to him? To us, to me? Are you sorry?
Answer our father.
I'm sorry.
Louder. Louder!
I'm sorry.
What right has he got to have any hit, Richard?
Richard shouldn't sleep during the services.
Painting's hard work. The boy was up all night.
And how many nights has Dad been up all night? Look how hard he works. He gives everything he has to us. He works till he drops.
And when he does drop, he drops right into bed with some woman.
Otis Jefferson, I'm going to make believe you didn't say that. I don't want to hear it. This boy broke the rules, and he was punished. And I was glad in my heart and soul to see him punished. It'll make him a better Christian.
Richard? What's wrong, son?
Oh, no. Who did this to you? Tell me, who did this, son?
Two of Jones's guys. The ones that are with him all the time. I fell asleep again, sitting on the floor where I was working. They just came by and found me. And Jones said I had to be punished, so they beat me.
This is worse than the Klan, for God's sakes.
I couldn't help it, Papa. I was just so tired. We didn't get back from the meetings till 7 in the morning, and I had to go right to work.
Let me get some ointment, and we'll talk about it. Congressman Ryan, it's getting worse all the time. The beatings, the women. He's got things happening with 8, 10 women in the church. And some say the men, too.
I can't believe that anybody listens to him.
Then you don't know him. They do anything he says, anytime he says it.
Mr. Jefferson, you're obviously sincere about this. But you know Jones is considered one of the leading clergymen in this country. The mayor of this city has made him chairman of the Housing Commission. He's active socially and politically. The members of your church come from all walks of life, rich and poor. The man you're describing is a monster. It just doesn't make sense.
I know it doesn't. Once he was a fine man, but something happened to him.
Okay, Mr. Jefferson, what we have to do now is think about this, check it out. How can we get in touch with you?
I don't want you calling me my wife and my children. They believe in everything he does.
We'll protect your situation. Why don't you take one of my cards? It's good to meet you.
Thank you, sir. Oh, that's a wild one.
Yeah. Sounds like a hot one, doesn't it? It's got all the elements. Blacks, religion, sex, drugs. Could make headlines all across the country. All right. Let's ask the FBI if there's anything unusual in the banking transactions, what with the Medicaid checks and the Social Security checks. You can check the real estate record. That's public information. Oh, yeah, let's ask our friends at City Hall if he's done anything with the Housing Commission besides load it with members of the church.
Agents asking questions about our bank accounts. Our finances are none of their business.
The Registrar of Deeds told me that there was a man in there from Congressman Ryan's office looking through the real estate transfer books.
This is outrageous. It's obscene. I won't let them crucify me.
Well, Jim, now there's a major investigation going on at the temple. We don't know why, but it's not going to do you any good to scream about it.
Who is this hound of hell named Ryan?
Spies, assassins. Man has asked himself, what would happen if the true Son of God returned to earth to create a perfect society? Now, we have the answer. Oh yes, now we know. For I am here. I have returned. I have brought you miracles. And my reward has been treachery. Yes, 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 oh, treachery. I have been betrayed. Who among you has done it? Who is my Judas? Look to your neighbors. Look to your families. Is it one of them? Is it one of them?
No. Not here, Lord.
Is it one of them?
No.
If it's painting you want, my day is done. Put that cigarette out. You know better than to be smoking around all this stuff.
Early.
I have to find Jim. We're in trouble.
Come on. Tell me who you are.
I'm not God.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Who are you?
Joshua James Ritchie.
And I am your father.
My daddy is my father.
I am the Father. I am God.
Mommy wants you, Josh. Jim, the roof is about to blow. The arson squad is investigating the death of Otis Jefferson.
It was an accident.
Otis was the source for the information being gathered about the temple. Did you know that, Jim?
Their lies and treachery cannot touch me. Oh, God, I wish I was dead. But my people, what would happen to my people?
Jim, did you know about Otis Jefferson?
We won't stay here and let them crucify me. I know what I have to do.
you to the promised land. To Jonestown. Yes. Jonestown. Let them curse and condemn us. They will not be able to touch us. Yes. All is ready. And I will lead you. Only 1,000 of us will be able to go at first as pioneers. The rest of you will be asked to redouble your efforts. Redouble your efforts to support and supplement our efforts in creating this paradise. What's yours? Take over! Take over! Thank you for choosing me to lead this blessed pilgrimage to a new holy land.
Richard, you haven't even started packing yet.
I'm not going. Mama, we got no business going to no jungle. What are we gonna do there?
We're gonna make a paradise to live in, like Jim Jones said. The trouble with you, Richard, is that you made some mistakes. You got punished, and it weakened your faith.
That's not true, Mama. It's just that I got my life to live. My life is here. I met a girl I like.
And she's come between you and your beliefs.
No, Mama. She was at services last Sunday, and she's gonna get her folks to come. It's just, if I go away now, I'll never see her again.
Our family's never been separated. Papa's gone, and now you want...
Mama, look, I wish we were all gonna stay here together. But I know you and Raymond are gonna go. And I gotta do what's right for me. It's what Papa would have wanted me to do.
This will be our first big harvest, and we'll plant again. 2 crops next year.
Mr. Jones, you are not going to get anything out of this.
What do you mean? We'll grow all the fruits and vegetables we need, and by next year we'll have enough surplus to supply the neighboring villages.
Mr. Jones, I am not an agricultural expert, but you have planted up the hill. At the first rains, the water will wash down these rows like small rivers. It will take away everything you have planted and the topsoil, too.
Why didn't somebody tell me about these conditions?
You should have asked the Indians in the jungle. They are the only ones who farm this area.
All they want to do is steal our supplies.
Instead of driving them off, you should have traded them some supplies for information.
We will not fail.
Mr. Jones, I want to help you all I can. It does our country no good if your experiment here does not succeed, but I cannot help you if you will not listen. This is a jungle, not a farm in your country.
I will make it happen here with God's help.
Mr. Jones, I hope he's listening. Straight ahead. Watch your step.
Thank you.
I'm so excited.
Me too. I can't wait to see Mama and Raymond again. I love you.
Richard. How are you? Oh, I'm so glad to see you finally.
Oh, good to see you. This is my wife, Alice. Isn't
Hello.
she beautiful?
Hello.
You know, I don't think she'd have married me if I hadn't said we'd come to Jonestown.
All right, well, then let's go. All aboard, Jonestown. Come on! Okay. Could I have everybody off, please? Come on. Okay, we're going to collect all your passports and all the other travel documents that you might have. Now, this is just a simple formality for the Guyanese immigration people. Okay? And Karen will give you your work assignments. All right, see you all later.
You're in residence B, and your work assignment.
Thank you.
Hi, Karen.
Welcome, Richard. Glad to have you back in the family, both of you.
It's good to be here. This is my wife, Alice.
Hello. Good to meet you. Very pretty.
Huh? We're pioneers.
All right, Richard, you're in residence C. That's the blue building, and you'll be assigned to logging operations.
Guess we won't be working together.
Okay, Alice, you're in residence A, and you start work by learning about our agricultural system.
Hey, wait a minute, Karen. We're married. Won't we be assigned quarters together?
That's up to Father Jones. We follow the rules here. Now, let's get going. There are more people to be processed.
Whatever names it won't be long, you're gonna look for me.
Jenny?
I'll be gone. What is
Jenny?
Richard Jefferson, you beautiful. Thank you. I'm so glad to see you.
Jenny?
Oh, she's so pretty. I'm so glad you're here. Did you have a nice Richard? You hungry?
Mama.
I missed you.
How's Raymond? So full of vinegar, just the way you used to be. Charlie's in trouble more than he's out of it. Mama?
Is this the little girl? Come here. Come here.
Jenny, this is the happiest day of my life. All my children.
Mama, they put us in separate houses. What's going on?
Richard, it's not an easy life we've got here, and nobody should come here expecting it. We're trying to build something new. And Father Jones says we just have to find new ways of living together.
Excuse me. Could you help me? I'm looking for my,
What's your number?
679.
679, there it is.
Now it's time for the nightly news. CIA agents have been reported very active in all parts of South America, particularly in Chile. But they're showing no success in Cuba, where Fidel Castro has triumphed over capitalist exploitation and brought his agrarian revolution into full flower. Today, he reported a 25% increase in agricultural production. I've cabled him our congratulations. And I know that you will want to help emulate his great success in transforming a backward, exploited country into a prosperous socialist republic. The work schedule in our commune will be extended by 1 hour each day.
Hey, man, I need some gloves. My hands are turning into raw meat.
You just soft. But you'll toughen up in a few days.
I won't be able to hold the axe.
And here, wrap this around your hand. I'll get back to work. You've been hacking at that tree all morning.
Man, the axe is dull.
Put some muscle into it.
Some look disappointed. You are spoiled. You've let yourselves be seduced by a weak and decadent society. You've grown fat on rich foods and soft work. Well, that's not what God intended for you.
Oh, Richard. Oh. Oh.
It's okay. Father wants to see you now. He wants to talk to you about your unhappiness here.
You leave Puerto Rico this night?
No, not tonight.
Do that again. Are you okay? Come on. Give us something to eat. Come on. What's wrong?
Are you all right?
Here. Come on. Come on. Watch your step. There you go. There you go. Sit down. There you go. Alice, baby, what's the matter? What's wrong? Did somebody do something to you? Did somebody hurt you?
Nobody hurt me.
You're acting so funny.
Not funny. I just had some little pills for my nerves. I feel fine, Richard. Really, don't worry about me. Isn't it a beautiful day today?
Here, baby, you better eat something.
No, I'm not hungry.
Logging crew, let's go. Everybody on the tractor. Let's go. Come on, Richard. That means you. You've got work to do. Let's see some action. Rise and shine.
I'll see you later, okay?
All right, everybody, 10 minutes.
That's our house. She was drugged, man. Alice doesn't take any drugs.
They gave her drugs. They deal with all the young women. The attractive ones, anyhow.
What do you mean?
Man, I'm telling you. They gave her drugs.
Well, why would they do that?
To get her under control.
No, see, you don't understand. She was just tired.
Jones wanted it, man.
What do you mean, wanted? No. No, you're lying. You're lying!
Wait a minute.
You're lying! Go! You're lying!
What's going on down here?
He said, my wife. He said, Father Jones. Oh, God. God, how could he?
Look here, you want to get back to work or you want to spend some time in the box? Everybody back to work. Let's go.
All marriages are dissolved. I will not tolerate any marriages created outside this church. They are illicit, sexually motivated relationships that have no place in this society. You have been mismatched and mismated by your baser instincts. I am now ending those relationships. And in my knowledge of you, I will designate your appropriate mates.
Damn it, you can't do that. You can't take my wife from me.
I know you, Richard Jefferson. You are a homosexual.
That's why your wife has left you.
You're one of those dirty little faggots who hang out in the men's room at the bus station. Sit down, homosexual.
I will not sit down. Now, I want my wife. You can't do this to people. We came here to help, to work for God. You think you can pull this, and you're crazy.
Listen to the dirty little fairy.
Good thing she went out.
He wants my body, and I won't give it to him. That's why this woman came to me and told me of its evil lusts and stayed with me. Because I am the only truly worthy object of your love and your desires.
You are crazy, man. You're crazy. You're nuts!
There's my brother. Throw them in the box. Put them in the box. Let them lie down side by side for 48 hours and see if the big queers will attack the faith again. Throw them in the box. Put them in the box!
Full of stories about the temple.
What do they say?
Oh, mostly innuendos and rumors, you know.
What did they say?
Well, there's been some interviews with Ryan, and some people of the relatives in Jonestown.
What are they talking about?
Just some stuff about real estate transactions. Now, don't be upset. But, Jim, they want you off the Housing Commission.
Tell them I resigned because of this vicious plot perpetrated to destroy me and all my work. It would be better to be dead than to see them destroy everything we've worked for all these years. If they're sending mercenaries after us, they won't like the reception they get. We'll die before we give up our struggle. Tell the faithful we'll stand together against these lies.
Now, Jim, you'd better come back here and make an appearance, or else they're going to say you're hiding.
If I come back, they'll send me to prison for the rest of my life. I'm creating a utopia, and they're determined to destroy it, and me with it. I'll never come back.
Jim, now listen to me. How's Joshua?
He's all right. He's all right.
Is Jim as out of control as he sounds on the radio?
It's worse than that sometimes, Clayton. I'm not with him anymore. He's taken the wife of a young man.
Josh out of here. Newspapers and television in San Francisco have been murdering us. Remember David's wife?
Yeah.
She's been talking to Ryan.
Oh, my God, that might break him completely.
It's time to get out, Gene.
I know.
Clayton, my health is falling apart. I can't stand the pressure. I wrote the Russians to send me 2 medical specialists. I can't trust anybody from the United States. The CIA's got them all in his pockets.
Jim, there's another $200,000 in the case here.
We need every cent. Our only protection is gifts from the faithful. Chief, take this money to Brazil. Open a new account. You've got to keep it hidden from the CIA.
Jim, this congressman has been investigating the temple. They've spread stories that people are being kept here against their will.
There are no prisoners here. They all love me.
Jim, they say that messages have been smuggled out attacking you and everything about this place. They call it an armed camp.
Oh, my God. My God, my God, my God. Perfidious, foul traitors. They've infiltrated us. Spies and mercenaries. Come to me, children. Come to me, children. Come to the sheltering arms of the Lord. Let me protect you. I'd rather see you dead. I'd rather see us all dead than imprisoned, tortured. Vile, evil warriors of hatred are descending upon us.
Jim, I want to take Joshua back with me.
No, no, no.
Well, it's time he went to school, Jim.
He goes to school here. He's learning more here than he'll ever know at the hands of the imperialist traitors.
All they'll do is teach him more of their rotten lies.
Well, I want to take him back.
Never! He is my son. He's the prince of the church. He sits at the right hand of God.
Well, Jim, I am not going to let you do this.
You can't tell me what to do! You are a disciple. Don't become my Judas.
I'll take care of this, Jim.
Josh. We're both getting out now.
I don't think we'll ever see Josh again.
Well, our only hope, Gene, is through some kind of legal help. If we tried to take him out now, none of us will get out of here alive. King?
You going somewhere?
Yeah, Jim wants Jean to take that to Brazil, and I'm going to take her to the airport. Thank you. Operator. 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 I'm trying to get through to San Francisco, Congressman Leo Ryan's office. Georgetown, Guyana. Thank you. Congressman Ryan? Congressman Ryan? This is Clayton Ritchie. I'm calling you from Georgetown, Guyana. Well, I've been the business manager of the People's Temple for many years. And, well, I'll tell you everything you want to know about it if you'll just help me take some kind of legal action to get my son back. Jim Jones has him. Yes, sir. Mr. Ryan, I strongly urge you to come down here and see for yourself just what's going on in Jonestown.
There are traitors among us. Turncoats. Despicable tools of the CIA. Who think they can send down spies disguised as congressmen. But you will not prevail. You will not prevail. Even today, a traitor among us has tried to take my son from me with a cruel and savage legal action while in Georgetown. But I tell you now, I tell the world now, only death can take him from me. And death is no more than a step toward the eternal life of peace which we'll all share one day. Death is life eternal. Death is life.
Little brother, I gotta get out of here. I gotta take my wife and get out.
There's no way. The trails all through the jungle are patrolled by guards. But they'll get you for sure. But if they don't, the snakes will.
This is a nightmare.
But you never wake up.
What can I do?
Jim Jones is going crazy. And if you keep fighting this, you're gonna go crazy too.
Her parents, they'll help. How can I get a message out?
You can't trust anybody around here.
Hey, what are you guys doing back here?
Going to the toilet. What does anybody do here?
You know you're not supposed to be back here this late.
Well, don't tell me. Tell my kidneys.
Maybe we'll tell Father Jones and see if some discipline isn't in order.
Mom. You know that congressman is coming down here?
Uh-huh.
Well, if anybody wants to go back with him, can if they want.
I don't want to hear anything about that, Raymond.
Mom, we have got to get out of here. I want us all to go. Help me. Please.
You're asking me to help you wrong Jim Jones. I can't do that. The trouble with you, Raymond, is that you were too little to know how it was before Jim Jones helped us. We owe our lives to that man. I am never leaving Jonestown, and if you do, I guess I just lost a son.
People's Temple receiving a Medicare, welfare, and other government. Have you spoken directly to Jim Jones about your visit to Jonestown?
No comment.
Jane, we're sorry.
Sorry? Where's my mother?
She's in the infirmary.
She dead?
Yes, she is.
And let's go talk to Father. Jane.
I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to see him.
Jane, we have to accept this.
He cheated her. He lied to her. Said he cured her. He didn't cure her. He didn't cure her.
Marcy.
He took my family. He took my money. He took me.
Jane, we're going to give you an injection.
He took everything.
Relax. Come on.
I want my mom.
Relax,
Is my mother dead? Is she
dead?
dead?
Yes.
Give me your arm, Jane.
We're going to give you an
Jane,
injection. Jane, we're going to give you an injection.
He's okay. We've just gotten clearance from Jones to go on to Jonestown.
Is the plane ready?
Yeah, there's a charter waiting at the airport, Congressman.
You sure you want to go?
We're sure.
Do you think Jones is going to react strongly to seeing you since you both quit the temple?
Well, Jan discussed it, and we'll fly with you to Port Khartoum and wait for you there.
Congressman Ryan, how do you defend this investigation against charges that you're meddling with freedom of religious choice?
Look, Jim Jones is down here in the South American jungle with 1,000 of my constituents. I am pledged to their protection and well-being. We've had reports that some are being held against their will. I intend to find out if that's the case. Believe me, I'm not coming down here with any preconceived notions.
Do you have any comment about the public officials back home who openly support Jim Jones and the People's Temple?
No comment.
The first time my wife went to a People's Temple function, it was a picnic. She became a fanatic follower of Jim Jones. Gave him a fortune. Even sold all her jewelry. It broke up our marriage when she followed him to Guyana.
Those stories about drugs at Jonestown, Congressman. Do you intend to go into that?
And we don't know if any of those stories are true. We're going to find out.
Actually, I've heard from sources I trust in San Francisco that Jones got a lot of kids off drugs.
We have no verification of that either.
That is true. My husband, David Langtree, was strung out on heroin when we first joined the People's Temple. And we tried everything to get him off, but nothing really seemed to work. And Jim Jones got him off heroin.
Must be very grateful to Jim Jones.
I wish I had the guts to kill him.
Congressman Leo Ryan from California.
Yeah, we know who you are.
All right, let's go see Mr. Jones.
Not all these people.
I thought this had already been cleared with Mr. Jones.
The only thing I know about is you, and Mr. Daniels, and Mr. Briggs, and Mr. Holloway. That girl, I don't know anything about them, and I mostly don't know anything about those two.
Mr. and Mrs. Ritchie don't plan to accompany us. These others are reporters. They expect to be able to talk with Mr. Jones and visit your encampment.
Well, you can forget about it because we don't want that many people around.
The Guyanese authorities in Georgetown have told these reporters they're free to go wherever they wish.
Georgetown. This is Jonestown. Father Jones makes the rules. Coming or not.
All right, everyone, we're free to go. All the relatives. Press, I'm sorry, you're going to have to stay here for the time being. I'm going to get a clearance for you as soon as I see Mr. Jones.
Welcome to Jonestown. Congressman Ryan, I'm Marcelyn Jones.
Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you. My husband's looking forward to meeting you. Do you follow me?
Mr. Jones, I'm Leo Ryan.
Welcome, Congressman. Welcome to Jonestown. Welcome, all of you. I'm sorry I wasn't at the airstrip to greet you, but I've had a touch of jungle fever, and I wanted to save all my strength to talk with you. If you'll all just sit down, my people will want to come and talk with you, and we'll have your relatives brought here, too.
We have some reporters with us. They weren't allowed to come here.
Well, I thought it might make everyone uncomfortable having them looking around.
Might be more uncomfortable to have them say that you were trying to hide something.
I have nothing to hide.
Here, ready.
Yeah?
Send somebody after the reporters.
Joe, thank God you're here. Joe, oh, thank God you've come. Thank God, I'm so happy to see you. Mama died. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Joe, get me out of here. You have to get me out of here.
We're going home. We're going home. This woman is hysterical. She's shocked by the quite natural death of her mother.
Cancer! She had cancer! And you said you'd cure her, and you didn't. He lies. Do you hear me, lies? Get away from me. Don't you touch me.
I did cure her. She lost her faith, and the disease was waiting to attack again.
There is no faith. No faith. Oh, my God.
See, Congressman, that's just part of my work. Trying to maintain the faith of the weaker souls who came down here expecting a paradise to be built overnight without a lot of hard work.
Yeah, I'll show you around our facilities. We have someone in charge of each one to answer any questions that you may have.
Good.
We've had 31 children born here in Jonestown without any complications. I'm a registered nurse. And never met a finer doctor than Dr. Langtree.
You got a great deal to be proud of, Mrs. Jones.
Oh, yes, we certainly do.
This stays locked until after Ryan and his people leave, all right?
Mom, look at this. Salad, fried chicken, mashed potatoes, vegetables, cake. Be nice if we had visitors all the time.
Take you around tomorrow and show you where all of this is.
You're working on it, so this is
I must admit, Mr. Jones, I came down here expecting to find a hellhole in the jungle, and everything I see indicates to me that you've got a well-organized, very comfortable encampment here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ryan.
Is that congressman going to ask if there's anybody who wants to get out of here?
What do you suppose that is, a private party over there?
Do you want to leave? Well, I don't want to be seen talking to you now, but don't go out that gate without me. I'll give you a story that'll blow this place apart.
Where do you keep those lock boxes, Joe?
Out in the jungle, on the other side of Building E.
Uh-huh. Well, why don't you just stash our friend there for a while until this is over, okay?
Aren't they wonderful?
Oh, God.
David? How are you?
I'm all right. I'm very busy, but all right. Why did you come here?
Do you believe I'm still your wife? I love you.
I mean, it's been so long, I thought, you'd have met somebody else, maybe even gotten married.
David, haven't you had enough of this? I can help you. You can go back and be a real doctor.
Doctor, don't you understand what's happened to me? I'm a real human being. I've actually saved lives. I've cured people. I've stopped pain. I've worked miracles than Jim could fake 1,000 healing ceremonies. And I've done it with these hands, with this mind, and with my body and my soul. We're building something beautiful here, Sheila. If only our enemies would leave us alone.
Oh, David.
Don't use that on me. You're not alive. You're living a memory. I am this moment. And I have been from the first moment I heard Jim's voice, and I will be until the last moment I hear him speak.
These attacks on me are all lies. Every leader with a vision has to go through that.
Tell me about these real estate transactions.
It's really very simple. Members of my flock make contributions to the temple. There's nothing wrong with that. Not one of them is out on the street. They've all been provided for.
What about these claims we've heard of sexual abuses?
Hasn't every leader, every prominent man in the world been subjected to such outrageous gossip?
This includes names, places, dates. Seems like more than gossip.
All right. I have committed one indiscretion in my entire married life. that still haunts me. Except that it led to the birth of my most beautiful son, Joshua. And it's led to this despicable legal action, as you know. But believe me, Mr. Ryan, please. I swear by all that's holy, I've never permitted myself or any member of my congregation to commit any acts of... Why am I so persecuted? There's no peace for me anywhere in the world. How by preaching a simple gospel have I created so many enemies? Why do people hate me when all I've ever tried to do was good? It's so painful. So painful.
Mr. Jones, I am merely trying to find out what's going on here on behalf of almost 1,000 of my constituents who happen to be members of your flock.
They're the constituents of God and Jim Jones.
Children, our fine, outstanding congressman has come all the way down here to find out if I'm a sex maniac. To find out if I'm holding you prisoners. I want you to tell them what our lives are like. And after you told them the truth about what our lives are like here, perhaps they'll go away and leave us in peace.
Notice the guards? I think we ought to get the hell out of here.
Here's my flock. Talk to them all you want. Ask them if I've destroyed their lives by leading them from poverty, neglect, and anguish.
I think we've seen enough, Mr. Jones. I'm ready to go back to Fort Kaituma with those of your group that want to go with us.
No, 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 no. I want you to stay. Marcy, find beds for the esteemed congressional investigator and his assistant.
May I have your attention, please, everyone? When we leave here tomorrow, any of you that want to go with us will be escorted back to the United States in comfort and safety. Any more of you who want to go with us should step forward right now.
The lies they'll tell about us now.
Don't let them go. We can keep them here.
Well, just a handful of people. And what difference does that make?
They'll be back, you know, with troops to wipe us out.
We can stop them. We can stop them now, before they have a chance to hurt us. I'm not going to let them do this to you. I'm not going to let them do it.
It's too late.
Just let them go.
Please do something to protect yourself. Something. Tell me what to do. Tell me.
and hurt them. Do something.
It's all over, it's all over. I've been betrayed. Send David to me. I don't feel well. Ask everybody to come to the pavilion. I have to talk to them. Bring me my family. Bring me my family.
Come, children. Come to the pavilion. Everybody come to the pavilion. Bring your families. Let's all come to the pavilion for one final moment together.
Huh. Sounds like Dad wants us to have another one of his loyalty tests.
It's time to leave all our fears and frustrations behind. It's time to take the final step together to eternal life. Oh, I love you, I love you, I love you all. That's right. Bring your families. Everyone come to the pavilion. That's right. I want all my children to come to the pavilion for one final moment. Hurry, hurry, my children. Please hurry. In spite of all that I've tried, a handful of our people with their lies have made our life impossible. There's no way to detach ourselves from what's happened today. We're sitting here waiting on a powder keg. Hurry, hurry, my children. Please hurry.
18.
We have been so betrayed. We've been so terribly betrayed. Are we all here? How very much I've tried to give you a good life. It's been said by the greatest prophets since time immemorial, no man takes my life from me, I lay my life down. If we can't live in peace, then let's die in peace. Now what's going to happen here in a matter of a few minutes is that one of our people is going to shoot the people who left. I didn't tell him to do it, I didn't plan it, but I know it's going to happen. That's just as plain as I can tell you. And I've never lied to you. I never have lied to you. So my opinion is, you be kind to children. You be kind to seniors. And you take the potion like they did in ancient Greece and step over quietly. Because we're not committing suicide. It's a revolutionary act. The people in San Francisco will not be idle over this. They'll not take our deaths in vain, you know. Jenny.
What about Russia? Is it too late for Russia?
It's too late. It's too late. Those people are out there. They're out there with their guns. I can't control them, and once they kill anybody, you think Russia is going to want us with all this stigma? Before we had value, but now we have no value to them.
Well, I feel like that as long as there's life, there's hope. That's my faith.
Sooner or later, that hope runs out, because everybody dies. I never saw anybody yet who didn't die. Now, I'd like to choose my own kind of death for a change, because I am tired of being tormented to hell. That's what I am tired of. I'm tired.
But Dad, I'd like to choose mine too. It's not that I'm afraid to die.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
It's just that I look around at all these children and I think they deserve to live.
I agree, but don't they deserve much more? Don't they deserve peace?
You are standing here today because he was here in the first place. Your life has been extended to this day because of him. You can't talk about individual life.
Paul says There's a man born out of due season. Well, I have been born out of due season, just like we all are, and the best testimony we can make is to leave this damn world.
Would. And if you want me to die because you want us to die today, I'll do it for you. We'll all go for you.
The congressman has been murdered. All over, all over. What a legacy, what a legacy. It's all over, all over. What a legacy, what a legacy. The congressman is dead. Please get us some medication. It's simple. It's just simple. Just please get it before it's too late. I'm telling you, you have got to move. You got to move. You got to move.
Y'all got to move. Now, you people that are standing there in the aisle, you get back behind this table, and then back this way, okay?
Mother, mother, please. If you knew what was ahead of you, if you knew what was ahead of you, you'd be glad to be stepping over. Oh, let's be dignified. Let's be dignified. Adults, don't do this. Adults, I call on you to stop this nonsense.
There is nothing to worry about. Now, everybody keep calm and try to keep the children calm, okay? Now, you children, I want you to lug up those little children and start administering them. They're not crying out of any pain. It's only a little bitter tasting. I just want to say something to everybody who is standing around or crying. This is nothing to cry about. This is something that we can all rejoice about. I have had a gorgeous life. I've had a beautiful life. So you should be happy. I know I am.
God Almighty, God Almighty. I don't care how many screams you hear. I don't care how many cries of anguish. That is 1,000,000 times preferable than 10 more days in this life. I strongly maintain to lay down your burdens. I'm going to lay down my burden down by the riverside. Shall we lay them down here inside of Guyana? What's the difference? We've lived as no other people have lived and loved. We've had as much of this world as you're going to get. Look out there. They'll torture our seniors. They'll torture our children. We cannot have this. Please, can we hasten? Can we hasten with our medication? Please, please. Let's get gone. Let's get gone. Let's get gone.
Me. If you finish it all, it won't hurt. They killed Mama. All the hypodermic needles had been used. I'm gonna get them. Okay. Well, help.
Do I have to, Dad?
Yes, my son. I'll find you in the next world. Death is life forever. Hurry, children, hurry, hurry, hurry.
They've robbed us of our land, and they've taken us, and they've driven us. We tried to find ourselves. We tried to find a new beginning, but it's too late.
God, I was home. Baby. Come on. Come on. Anything happened to Mom? You have to go.
Can't separate yourself from your brother and your sister.
You and me.
There's no way I'm going to do.
Go.
I refuse.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. George! No! Chief! Where's my baby? Where's my baby? Traitor!
I don't know who fired the shot. I don't know who killed the congressman, but as far as I'm concerned, I killed him. He had no business coming. I told him not to come. Oh, free at last, free at last.
I tried so very, very hard.
We used to sing, this world, it's not our home. Well, it sure isn't. We're going to set an example for others. 1,000 people who said, we don't like the way the world is. Take our life from us. We laid it down. We got tired. We didn't commit suicide. We committed a revolutionary act of suicide protesting the conditions of an inhumane world.